Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day because we're going to be going over the new patch note that has dropped on For Honor today. Patch 2.20.2, and it has a lot to go over, so let's just get down and dirty with it. And let's start off with Lawbringer. The feats. Corruption affects both Nucia and Warmonger feats. Corruption is no longer triggered by having soldiers from your team in the area of effect. Interesting indeed. Corruption Blade, decrease active time before going to cooldown without hitting a target to 15 from 20 seconds, and increase cooldown to 75 from 60. Okay, honestly, I think this is a slight over nerf to the hero. Now, the only issue, like, I know you guys have heard me complain about Warmonger, her first feat, but the only issue I had with it was that it affected soldiers, and I feel like they should not apply the corruption nerf to the fourth feats, because the fourth feat should be a powerful tool to use to finish fights, because a lot of the Vikings have Fire Flask, which is one of the most strongest tools. Umbral Shelter is insanely powerful as well. Everyone has like a very strong tool when it comes to holding a defensive line or actually dealing tons of damage. And if this nerfs the minion lane as well, I feel like there's a little bit of an over nerf. You guys have to let me know your issues with corruptions in general, but I'm glad they addressed the cooldown, because having it from 75 seconds from 60 is big, because she would always have it every single fight. And I know a lot of people said she was used for anti-ganking, but the thing is, she was also used a lot for ganking purposes as well, because it's always a chaotic time in Dominion or Breach, and I feel like she's going to be nerfed significantly when it comes to that aspect, and I'm glad they took care of that. The decreased cooldown is also important as well, so 5 more seconds of you defending is super helpful. So I think this is overall a good change, but it's a slight over nerf in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. And now quickly we'll just go over some stamina adjustments. These are pretty important to note as well, because heroes like Berserker, Warden, Shaolin, their stamina increase costs were pretty detrimental to their combos, and so combo lights are now 6 stamina from 12, and attack inputs now cost 9 stamina from 12, so it's a big difference. It means you get a light attack in again, which is important. Berserker was pretty much, I don't know, he felt really stamina heavy and it felt bad to play him, so I'm glad they fixed this. It's a pretty good, helpful change. And moving on to the stamina damage adjustments. Now these were huge. These are huge buffs for the heroes that did have these. And taking a look at Valkyrie, her left and right finishers used to be 80 damage stamina drain. Her shield bash was also pretty significant as well. They've pretty much been adjusted to drain 30 stamina for all the values. Gladiators was insanely high as well, from 60. Bamboozle was 50 as well. Tiani's kick was 35, but you didn't really notice that much, to be honest. Sprint attack challenge was pretty good for ganking purposes. Centurion's jab was also pretty high, 40, and the punch also drained half your stamina as well. It was a really good tool to make your opponents go OS and go for an Eagle's Talon. Lawbringer is pretty helpful. And as you can see here, Army Shell's got his kick nerfed from 40. This is just stamina value, so it's not that big of a deal. You didn't really notice it from Army in the first place, or Nobushi. Shigoki's, you did notice it because it was hard to react to now, so it's 50 from down to 30, which is good. And Warlords used to be 60 as well. So this is a huge nerf for all these heroes, and I'm glad that they addressed it, because this was really bad for the game, because it made it so you can't attack, and the whole point of the CCU was to make sure that you're able to let some light attacks fly, so you wouldn't get severely punished for it, and you can make better reads overall. So this is a good change. I like it. And also an important note was that Shigoki would just light attack you every single chance he got, and I don't know why. I really don't know why he still has hyper armor as light attacks, because it promotes such an unhealthy way to play the game, because he can just trade with you any second of the day. You know, I feel like trade should be more rewarding and a little bit more tactical, but he has hyper armor right away. I know they nerfed it too, but he can still trade right away anyways, and so I think they should just remove it altogether, because you guys remember when Shigoki had his hyper armor that would come back every 5 seconds or so. This is just as annoying. And I don't know why they haven't removed it yet, because he would still be a strong hero overall. And the thing is, a lot of people don't dodge roll because it's a very gimmicky mechanic and they want to play the game. And so Shigoki's lights, he's not going to be able to light spam them anymore when you're getting hit by them or when he's blocking, and he's not going to have frame advantage. So that's very, very helpful. So good on them for adjusting that and nerfing these stamina values. Woo! And let's just go over the deflect buffs now. Obviously, you guys can see all the damage values that have been changed. However, I just want to take a look at the deflects have been increased to 30, which is nice for Nucia, Orochi's. You know, overall, Orochi got a few buffs when it comes to his Storm Rush, so that's pretty nice. It used to be 16, 15, now it's all 20, which is awesome. Zone attack slightly increased, and let's look at this here. Wind Gust, 24 damage from 20, that's his R1 or his light attack deflect, 24 damage. It's a little bit low, honestly, going for deflects, because that's just a normal heavy punish, I suppose. But I feel like it should be like maybe 28, 26 or something like that. His heavy one deals 36 damage, which is, it's good compared to like the rest of the cast when it comes to damage value, so I suppose that's good. Overall, good deflect buffs for Orochi and Nucia. Peacekeeper, her deflect also, it didn't really get changed. I believe it's still about the same because it's just bleed anyways. Oh my goodness. That's pretty hilarious. Oh wow, that's a huge nerf, to be honest. I mean, it's about 20, 23, 24. Looks like it's 24 damage deflect, so that's pretty pathetic. We have adjusted the damage for multiple attacks. On average, heavy attacks deal less damage and light attacks remain mostly the same, but there are some exceptions. The new damage values are closer to, but not identical to Testing Grounds Week 2. We looked at the community feedback and our own internal feedback and examined every attack in regard to its utility and properties and rebalanced their damage accordingly. Okay, so this was done pretty much to ensure that lights were lasting longer, punishes are less damaging, and players have more time to anticipate what their opponents do. Basically, they wanted to give you a chance to make better reads, and that's where they wanted the game to go into. And I feel like this is an interesting concept. We'll have to see how it plays out. Honestly, I think a lot of people will be upset because some people liked hard-hitting heroes like Highlander's 45 damage top heavies, and Lawbringer's entire design was balanced around punishing people, and so now that his damage is pretty much on par with the rest of the cast, it feels like a shell of himself now, and he doesn't have a viable opener. Just like half the cast, they don't have a viable opener that they can utilize, and all they can do is light spam, and their damage on their heavies are weaker. And just look at Aramusha's, he's the first one, so let's just go over this really quickly. I think the most hilarious thing is that his opener side heavies now deal 27 damage, even though they're insanely slow. They're probably one of the slowest heavy attacks in the game right now, and they only deal 27 damage, which is hilarious. And that's about it. That's the funny thing about Aramusha. I'm just going to leave the patch notes down below for you guys to look at, because they pretty much adjust all the numbers on every single hero. A lot of them are pretty, I would say, significant. I'll go over the most hilarious changes for you all. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious, man. Lawbringer, this is as hilarious as slowing down Aramusha's heavies. Impaling Charge now deals 1 damage. 1 damage. From 8. So, what do I think about this? Honestly, the Impale was great for punishing heroes, especially in 4v4, 1v1s for wall splats, since everyone's damages has been normalized. This honestly doesn't really feel like the biggest of nerfs, because he still gets tons of value from the top heavy hit that blinds you and makes you lose stamina. He'll pretty much always guarantee a follow-up light or a chain heavy chip damage to go into his unblockable chain heavy, which is insanely powerful. It makes him one of the strongest heroes when it comes to chain pressure, because you're blinded and you don't have much time to react to that, because it's fast as balls, to be honest. So what I think about this, it feels fine, but the nerf to 1 damage is just silly. It's hilarious. And I think a lot of people are going to be upset about this, especially Lawbringer mains. Your damage punishes have been nerfed significantly. You're basically just like everybody else. You're no different from anyone else, except you get some wall punishes. Your damage values are pretty much the same. You have no opener still, like the rest of the cast. You have no hyper armor on your shove, which makes you a lot weaker. You still have a good canceling of the 50-50s, but you've got nothing like most heroes, besides parry punishes and enhanced lights. I think Lawbringer should get a light heavy. just so they can go into a different chain and get some more chip damage in, just like the rest of the heroes. Give everyone enhanced lights, that'd be fantastic. But as you can see here, everything has been changed, decreased from the last patch, and it's just good stuff. Hilarious. And here we just have a bunch of nerfs from Nobushi, just damage-wise. I wish they would fix her recoveries or things like that, but just small nerfs overall, just a bunch of damage tweaks to her. She was pretty good on console, just spam away, pretty weak on PC, so different platforms require different balances. However, Ubisoft don't got time for that, so I feel bad for Nobushi players. Let's take a look at Black Prior here. Bulwark Slash now deals 27 damage for 35. This is really important because his external damage was insanely good with this. 35 damage for unblockable from neutral is really, really strong. And now they nerfed it in line at 27 damage, which is, it's still a very strong utility, so I'm glad they nerfed it. But overall, Black Prior is still a really strong pick, even with his damage nerfs. And they also nerfed Centurion's damage as well. He used to be a very formidable hero with above average heavy damages compared to the rest of the cast with variable timed heavies. But now his damage is in line to what it used to be, and I think they're a lot more fair. His pin attack now only deals 30 damage now, which is a significant number. That's a huge nerf. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Honestly, I think 30 is a little bit too low. I think 35 or maybe 33 would have been fine, but you guys have to let me know down below because this is a huge nerf for him. But overall, he's still one of the best heroes, so he has the viable tools to win fights and have huge comebacks. Now Conqueror, he was just a mess of a hero. His damage values were all fudged up, and if you take a look at this, his infinite top heavy chains were insanely high, and they just nerfed it down all the way to 27. Hopefully they're not increasing the speed or anything, so it's still very slow and it's very easy to block and parry as well. So this is just a huge nerf overall, and I think the fail uppercut is a little bit better. It does 20 damage. It's still not on par to how it used to be, but 20 damage is better than 15 to be frank, and it's still a very safe move. So Conqueror is still the same hero with great defense, decent damage I would say, but he's still a very boring hero to play against and subjectively to play as well, because you kind of only have one real way to deal damage, and that is your shield bash, because they took away your safe heavies to use the mix up into full block and just letting a raw heavy rip. So that's gone, and you don't have any other utility besides bash spamming and maybe throwing your infinite lights. Oh boy, Highlander main's gonna be pretty sad, but you guys are light spammers now, which is hilarious. And the top heavy now deals 30 damage from 34. Man, this is a huge nerf to that top heavy, baby. It is a huge nerf. 30 damage, it feels pretty minuscule compared to the 45 that you guys used to get, and 35, which you guys used to get on the last patch. But now it's all over for you guys. Low damage, and I think the offensive form is 30 damage. It used to be 37, so I don't know. He feels everything is lower. They want to make sure that you can make more raids, and if that's the way they want to go, then that's fine. But now he doesn't feel like a hard-hitting hero anymore. Everybody just feels about the same with damage-wise, and that could be okay when it comes to the long run of the game, and we'll have to see how it plays out. But let me know what your thoughts are about Highlanders. Okay, Xiang Jun, his zone attack, 14 to 16. You know, his zone is a very good option select tool, so it's very strong, especially when it comes to 4v4 gameplay. It's unblockable. 16 damage is very small, but granted, it has insane utility. So I don't know how I feel about this. We'll have to play with it a little bit more. They just want to nerf all the damages. 25 to 16 is kind of huge, but I don't know. It's bad for parry punishes in 1v1s. It's okay in 4v4 gameplay, but it has more utility in that aspect, and that's where they're balancing in the 4v4 aspect. So honestly, I think this would be an okay nerf. It's still pretty hilarious, but I hope that they fix the choke, which I don't think they did. Alright, so let's see the stamina drain. Yep, stamina drain is still the same. Let's do another one. This slap gets him out of stamina. That is still broken. Good job, Ubisoft. So that he basically gets tons of punishes still compared to the rest of the cast. So Xiang Jun is still one of the best picks in the game. Let's see if I can go out of stand with the slap. Nope. Let's wait a little bit more. Right here. Right here, the slap should make it go out of stamina. And yep, that's fantastic. GG's, Ubisoft. GG's. You need to nerf this. You need to nerf this. This is a little bit way too overpowered. Like, I'm a Xiang Jun main, but if you don't have more than half stamina, you're going to lose to Xiang Jun 9 times out of 10 if you throw a light or a heavy. Like, this is very unbalanced. The slap should not make you fall down. That's way too overpowered. Only if, like, you're choking right now, that's when you should go OS. But if you still have stamina during the choke, then you shouldn't take so much damage, because that's borderline OP and it's very unfun to play against. And a good game requires fun mechanics to play against. Alright, Jormungandr's. I want to talk about his Hammer Slam. It deals 38 damage from 42. Now this is interesting because they decided to make Centurion's Eagle's Talon 30 damage, but they make Jormungandr's Nut Slam attack 38. And I feel like it's because, well, they both give stamina back, but Centurion has easier access to his 50/50s, so therefore it's probably more consistent that you'll land a fully charged punch compared to Jormungandr's punch that drains your stamina. Since they nerf stamina values in general, you can't go OS as much, but I think on console it's still a pain in the ass to fight Jormungandr, because you have to make a read on guessing the punch or get hit by the unblockable light attack. So I'm not sure about this damage value. I feel it should be nerfed to 35 or 33. It's a little bit too high in my opinion, but we'll just see how it plays out in the end, because he's overall a very strong hero right now, because he has easy access to his unblockable because his lights are enhanced, and 38 damage after a wall splat or anything like that, or when you're OS, is going to be huge. He's going to be a very strong pick. Raider's enhanced zone attacks now deal a little bit less damage. It's still very strong, 38, that's pretty high in my opinion. And Raider's Storm now deals 22 damage, so that's pretty decent when it comes to guard break damage, and having wall splat as well when it comes to his knee attack. So very strong, and it's a good buff for him. Alright everybody, that is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know your thoughts down below on the new patch that did come out. You know, overall I think it's a solid patch with good tweaks, and if they want to make the game more read-based and lower the damage values and make the game last a little bit longer when it comes to fights and 1v1s or 4v4s, that's fine with me. A lot of damage nerfs, what do you guys think about that? There's barely any hard hitters anymore besides the heroes with 50/50s. Like Jormungandr is one of the hard hitters. Shaman, her bite's pretty decent too. The only good thing about Lawbringer is that he always gets a heavy off of any parry if there's like a wall nearby, and usually there is. But overall, I think it's a good change. There's still a lot of things that need to be fixed, and there's always going to be unbalance in the game, because no game is unbalanced, and I totally understand that. So let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow my Twitter if you guys haven't already. I post my updates and funny memes and things like that, and be sure to follow my Twitch as well, Naked Soul here. We are up at 5.7k followers, pretty fantastic. I love you guys. Almost up to 6k, and we always have a good time in our stream, so hopefully you guys check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and have a good night.